now we have seen the table creation here. Next we'll see how can we insert the data into the table. So with the help of this one line table creation, scanning this entire package and table creation, everything is done. And not only doing this, it will return you one object called entity manager factory object. Why this entity manager factory object is required here means this entity manager factory is an interface. It will be having one method called create entity manager. This create entity manager plays an important role here for inserting, updating and fetching. So whatever the CRUD operations is there, that is responsible by the create entity manager here. So we'll just call entity manager factory dot create entity manager. So what this method will do, this method will helps to perform the CRUD operation. So it will be having one create sorry entity manager entity manager object. So if you observe here inside this entity manager, we will be having a method called persist, and don't worry about the implementation. We no need to worry about what is the implementation has been written here. So these are all interfaces. We have the functionality. So here abstraction has been implemented. And by using this entity manager, we can create an object called get transaction. What is the use of this transaction? This transaction is used for the management of our transactions. Like you are communicating from Hibernate with the DB. So we want to save the data, we need to commit. We need to update the data, we need to begin the transaction and we need to commit the code. Sorry, commit the data into the table. So if you see in DB and all, if you are inserting table alone, it will not happen properly. Sometimes if you close suddenly, it will not insert it into your table. You need to commit the code, then only it will be added into your table, saved into your table properly. So for the transactions purpose, we will be using the get transaction method, and this get transaction will return the entity transaction. Okay, entity manager factory for creation of entity manager. Why this entity manager? It helps for performing the CRUD operations, and this entity manager will offers you to create a get transaction object. Why this transaction is required here? It used for the transaction management. Now, first what I need to do, I need to save the data. So generally we need to save data, we will write the query. But when it comes to here, you just create an object of this employee and add your data, and remaining things will be taken care by your Hibernate. So let me create employee, new employee emp dot, okay, something like that we have created. Okay, now we have created the object, but we need to tell if we are having multiple data, what we will do. So we should not get confusion. I have to tell persistence API, hey persistence API, you take this employee object, collect all the data which is present in this object and store it into the table. So to do that, first we need to begin the transaction. Transaction dot begin, and entity manager dot persist is a method where we are going to store the employee. Persist method which helps to save the data, and there are some alternate some other methods are also there. So there is something called merge is there for updating the data. For fetching there is separate method. For deleting separate method is there. We will see in the future classes. And transaction dot commit, which will commit the data into the table here. Okay, that's all. Let us save and run this. And if you see, insert query has been written. If you observe here, let me refresh the data. See, we got the data 100 Java Macha.